Well, let me tell you a little something about me. When it's Saturday night, I need to blow off some steam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I've been rolling in since the clock came Monday morning. From the end of the week, I'm bound to blow. We're walking to the honky tonk like a pack of wolves now. Order up around the drops and it's away we go.
Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ray Henry here. We're on Equipment Talk from IRAY. Again, I want to thank Mike for coming out here today. Mike, we want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that are going on in the equipment world and how the pace is changing in your world, and what are some of the differences you're seeing in what you do?
Well, you're kind of putting me on the spot.
Well, this is kind of a free open talk, so that's why what we're trying to do here is we're trying to educate people just a little bit on the changes that are happening in the equipment world that you use, of course, and how you update your equipment, and what are you seeing for the types of equipment that are available, and you know, and what is the usability of that equipment, and what makes you guys better than somebody else that's out there doing the same job. So let's start with what is different in your world from, let's say, 5 years ago?
I would say economy, for sure. The price of everything, you know, is going through the roof, like, you know, automotive, houses, you know, equipment.
Fuel.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I would say that's probably the biggest thing is, you know, in the uncertain economy.
How's it for workers? I mean, are you finding workers out there that want to work? Or?
Thankfully, the guys that we've been there, you know, they've been there with us for a long time. And I only started maybe a year or so ago, but we've got guys that
with
have been
the company
there.
you're working with now.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, the guys that, you know, the foremen and everything have been there, you know, 12, 14, 15 years. And, you know, they're very devoted, you know.
They're seasoned.
Absolutely. Yes.
so they know what they're doing. But now, are you going to be seeing some of these guys retiring within the next, you know, let's say 5 years?
Unlikely. Just the age, you know, they're
young enough yet?
Working class, and, you know.
So you're finding guys that are probably in their 30s and 40s that are working yet, that are good?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The foremen especially, you know.
What are they ex-farmers, or what are they?
No, concrete workers.
So, I mean, where did they originate from? I mean, did they come from farms, or did they come from inner cities, or they come from that kind of a
rural? Yeah.
A rural area.
Yep, exactly.
So they're hands-on kind of guys.
Blue collar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's kind of cool. Now, in your world, I mean, as far as I know, you're in the concrete. As far as what type of equipment are you using, and what are you seeing in the tools that you're getting, you know, to do the jobs that you're doing now?
Supply and demand is the big thing right now. The lack of supply.
So are you having a hard time getting concrete?
Nope. Having a hard time getting parts, trucks, equipment.
Okay.
You know, we ordered a new crane truck a year ago.
Okay.
Still isn't there.
All right. What are they telling you for kind of a leg time on something like that?
Well, it's, you know, from what I understand, the truck is in Maine now. The crane portion is coming from Italy. Yeah. You know, and then they'll get everything in the States, assemble it, and get it to us. So, you know,
what kind of, I mean, I'm just curious for myself, but what size kind of a crane is that crane truck? Is that like a 50 ton, 20 ton, 10 ton?
I'm not even positive, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's more of a boom truck that's used to move our forms around.
Okay, so it's kind of a hook lift truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so is it stationed right behind a cab, or is it on the very back of the truck?
It's on the very back of the truck.
Okay, so that it'll swing in larger areas and stuff like that. Huh?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yep. They use the flatbed portion for, you know, the forms, because we do poured walls.
Okay. And what size truck is that?
I want to say that we've got two different smaller ones, or a smaller one and a medium, and then we got another bigger one coming, the one that we ordered. But the smaller one is 28 foot, I believe. The bigger one's 36 foot. And then I think the new one's coming is 40.
Okay, so she got some bigger trucks then. 40
Yeah.
feet's a pretty long truck. So it
Right.
must be a tandem axle anyways, right?
Oh, then they add axles.
Oh, and then they add axles.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys put a little weight to them. Are you guys hauling block too or no?
Nope, just forms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. We got some heavy forms there, don't you?
Well, there's a lot of them.
Oh. So are you still using the old steel ones? Are you using aluminum or
Aluminum.
forms?
Yep.
So you guys can grab them and their back still works afterwards, huh?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's cool. So now let's say that the equipment that you're getting, is there more, are you getting more remotes with it? I mean, how are you seeing as far as the type of equipment that you're getting in that's new? What kind of options are you really kind of grabbing to help you guys do a better job or be more efficient?
Well, as far as equipment goes, basic hand tools, trowelers, soft cut saws, things like that. Even just finding a generator, we had a couple generators go out and that took out our supply at the shop. So trying to find,
What size generators are you guys utilizing there?
3000s.
Oh, 3,000 watt, and they're getting tougher to find too?
They are, yeah.
Well, you can get a link cord and put two 1500s together and it turns into 3,000. You know that, right? Never thought of that one, did you?
Right.
You could run two motors instead of one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, just, across the board, we had a soft cut saw go down and, we sent it in for repairs because we couldn't buy a new one. They're just not on the shelf.
They're not even available.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a lot of that stuff is not available.
Exactly.
I know forklifts and stuff like that, even 2012 models, and you get something in a bigger than a 6,000 pound unit, and they're running in the with, let's say, 3,000 hours on it, or up to 5,000 hours, are running close to 90 grand now.
It's insane. We order them 6 months in advance. We have a fleet of trucks and many crews out on the road. So then it's, you try and anticipate for next year. So you order them 6 months in advance and hope they get here in time.
Now, are you running any squirt boom type forklifts in your guys' operations there?
Say that again?
Like a shooting boom forklift? Are you running any of those?
Nope. Just Bobcats, T450s, T66.
And then how do you convey your whatever you need, or if it's block or if it's whatever up, if you were going up a wall? How do you guys doing that? Are you guys using scaffolding?
Honestly, I don't know.
Well, maybe you're using scaffolding and then somebody else is booming it for you. Huh?
Right. The boom trucks will get it to where it needs to be, but
Yeah.
then it's,
So are you guys doing more flat work? Are you doing some walls and stuff like that?
it's about 50-50. Poured
Okay.
walls and flat work.
Okay.
Yep.
So you
Residential, commercial.
So you don't, as far as what you see now and you're in the company there, you don't have any autonomous forklifts or nothing skid loaders or nothing, huh?
No, we don't. Yeah.
Are you guys seeing that coming, or what's kind of the jargon on that?
I haven't heard of anything, no.
Bobcat put one out.
Did they?
Yeah, they
Okay.
do have one that they put out, and it's electric. I shouldn't say it's totally autonomous or something like that, but it's electric.
Okay.
And that one's came out, I guess it's kind of in its prototype stage, you know what I mean?
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's electric. You charge it up when, maybe halfway at lunch or something, charge it for half hour, 45 minutes. But they say it'll run about an 8-hour day.
Okay.
So,
That's interesting.
yeah, it is.
Everything's going that direction.
And even in a Bobcat, if they turn around and put, what do they got? 4-cylinder diesels, right?
Right. Yep.
So if they put maybe a 1-cylinder diesel running a generator, or smaller 2-cylinder diesel running a generator in there and running electric, that might be a lot easier on emissions as well.
A hybrid version. Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
And maybe you should make a suggestion to them, huh? So you guys can take it one step at a time. You don't have to move all the way there, right?
Exactly.
So again, now what you're doing with the company, are you guys, as far as the trucks that you're getting, are you guys looking at moving to electric trucks here down the road, or what's your kind of a feel there? I know that you're the equipment manager, right?
Right. Shop manager. Yep.
Yep.
I have mixed feelings on that. Everybody wants to go electric, and I know a lot of major manufacturers want to go completely electric by like 2035.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of hurdles to overcome on that.
Well, I heard that down in your area in Becker, they're talking about that power plant. They're shutting her down.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do then? You guys ain't going to have the power there. I know they have Monticello has a nuclear one there, but that ain't going to manage more than it's doing right now.
Right. No, that's you talk about everybody wants to go electric and, green and clean the air and everything else, but then on the other hand, they sell us to turn our AC up, during the summer months because of the draw on the power grid. So what happens when all of a sudden you're
Start
plugging
all
in
these things
35 million cars,
I don't know if you have 35 million in Sherburne County, but
well,
just think about that.
right.
But you think about that just in your county,
Right.
and on a lower scale. And they say that if you're going to go solar, you would need 30,000 acres to run solar panels to run the county, for Sherburne County.
Right.
How would that happen?
Exactly.
So, I guess, that them wanting to go electric, they're not really giving it enough time and thought in how they're going to do it.
Well, and, can the electric produce the power and the reliability and the longevity? You mentioned that the Bobcat would run 8 hours. Our guys are halfway through their day at 8 hours.
Oh, they put some time in, huh? You guys are getting paid over KOK there then, right? So, and that's right, because, that there's not as many workers out there that want to do the job. So you guys are pretty fortunate.
Right.
And I'm sure they're hard workers too, because if they came from up in this neck of the woods up in Minnesota, you got to learn to be a hard worker. Otherwise, you might freeze to death.
Right. Or if you're not working hard enough, you might not have a job.
Yeah. Well, there's enough of them out there too.
Exactly.
But, we, like I said, we're trying to figure out in the equipment world, that the guys that are out, that are on the jobs, that are ordering the equipment and that are looking at moving forward with their business, because, we want to all keep in business, right?
Right.
And, what is the government telling us we have to do, or what the manufacturers or the power companies and all these people, what are they telling them that we have to do? And still, they want us to provide for our families and cleaner air. Well, what good is clean air if you can't feed your family and go out and work because the stuff won't work for you?
Exactly.
So we got some controversy that we're going to have to help them figure out, I suppose, huh?
Well, and the right hand doesn't talk to the left. The power company isn't going to talk to the automotive manufacturers. It's everybody's going to take care of themselves, but it all has to coalesce somehow.
Right. And it's coming down to that.
Right.
And that's why, we're doing these podcasts basically every week we've been doing podcasts just to kind of find out what what is going on out there where, and just think about Minnesota, power, electric, you've run electric tools out in the cold.
Oh, yeah.
How much longer do they run?
Yeah. Half as long.
Right. And because, the bearings and the oil on the bearings is colder, so it's gonna tighten up the tolerance, and then it's gonna draw more juice just to run the way it does, right?
Right.
And they got a tough one here, don't they?
I just saw a YouTube clip on the electric Ford, and it showed I forget the exact numbers, but it was say 170 miles towing this vehicle weight and everything else in this trailer.
170 miles
versus a gas engine, which it can go 350
on a tank. Right.
But then all of a sudden they get a little wind and everything in their face, and all of a sudden he's having to recharge at 98 miles.
Yeah, that's a tough nut to crack, isn't it? You're not going to be going too far with that truck.
Exactly.
And a working man's going to have to get in that truck and work, right?
And then sit and wait to recharge versus pulling up to the pump.
Yeah, so that means that, that if you are doing a job, you're going to put hours and then weeks and then months onto that job because you cannot be there to do it.
Your downtime.
Yeah.
Your recharge times.
Yeah, I just seen a company out in Wisconsin, Michaels. They just showed on, I seen it on I think it was LinkedIn, that they just bought, and they got the Lightning truck, electric one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny because I do know the equipment manager there. So I think that I'm going to reach out to him and just kind of get a pulse on it, what he feels is going to happen with what is going on in the industry.
Well, and we don't have the infrastructure either. The charging stations, they're going to have to be everywhere, So I just ran back and forth from here to Becker a few times, bringing equipment over here, and I wouldn't have been able to,
with electric?
With an electric.
You would have ran over your 175 miles, is what you're saying?
Or the 98 miles.
Or the 98 miles. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
So
there's a lot of hurdles to,
overcome.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you see in the next 5 years with what you're doing? I mean, as far as, you watch things that are going on, and you just talked about, the power and what they're trying to do in Becker a little bit. And I know that they tried to go with natural gas to do it cleaner. So it's alternative fuel, right?
Sure.
And then I know that they were talking about the alternative fuel coming into Becker for natural gas, but then they're afraid about, the protesters about piping gas through properties and having a leak or something. So, I mean,
you're never going to make everybody happy. You can't.
So long as mama's happy, everybody's happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, in the event that, let's say that they're going to shut that power plant down in 5 years, what would you see in your business if you had to go all electric, or maybe not so much electric, because, you're not going to find the guys after a while either. Your guys are probably good for another 10 years, huh?
I would think so, at least, yeah.
So at least we know 10 years that you're going to be in good shape.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that somebody else couldn't come into play and help out, or maybe autonomous. Some of these things that you're doing could change to, to a robotic to do it instead of maybe a person, right?
Right. There's always that possibility, but when you start dealing with manual labor, the robot can't see a situation and, comprehend or understand what's going on and make a change, or, anticipate what's going to happen if you do this wrong.
So would give me an example where, let's say that if we had a autonomous there and somebody, that wasn't again, it's a human being, right? And we make errors probably more than something autonomous, because you program it in, it's going to do the same thing each time, right?
Sure.
So what would be an example that you'd give me that, let's say that in your business, that a human would be able to take care of that situation where autonomous probably would just blink out and say, I can't do this?
I guess the first thing that comes to mind is just conditions, soil conditions, wet, rainy, slippery, ground sinking. It's not going to be able to determine that, hey, maybe this, we got to, put some footings in over here or build this up over here because, of the conditions.
Okay. So
versus the robot's just, programmed to do one thing. But if one of those variables change, then the outcome is different.
Right. No, I get that. I mean, all you'd have is they're turning around and putting that wall up or that floor in, and the ground collapses next to it where you guys had shored up right away or something, and because of rain or whatever, right?
Sure.
Because you've been to job sites where you come in and there goes the side wall because it rained like it never would have before, right?
Right. Sure.
And there's no seeing that or knowing that. And then, so what happens?
A human, steps on the soil and, okay, we're sinking. There's a problem here. We got to change our plan. The robot isn't going to know that. Yeah.
Because I had one time that, that we were building a new structure and they had a block wall that was put up, and the guy was backfilling it, and somehow he got close enough and it pushed the wall in.
Oh.
So in that incident, that was a tough one to call, because it had to get dug all back out.
Sure.
And I had like 3 different alternatives where I could put anchors in it, where I could pull it out, or I could take the wall and lift the structures above it and take that wall completely out. Or I could take and go in the inside and take 2x12s and put them against the wall, and 2x10s on the inside, and have them as kickers and pound them down, and it kicked the wall right out.
Okay.
That's the way we went.
Exactly.
So we had some things, but we had to think hard and fast because that wall was going to collapse,
and if the robot wasn't programmed to figure that out, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Well,
that's great. Well, so is there anything that you'd like to share with our podcast audience as far as what you do in your job that makes it unique for you being in that company?
I enjoy the variety. Nothing's ever the same. One day I might be taking care of auction items. Next day I might be running a Bobcat. Next day I'm, placing orders or cleaning the shop, doing maintenance. I just like the variety.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, in your eyes, just like you bring some stuff to IRAY auctions, right? Or to auction.
Yeah.
What makes it? I guess. What makes that your choice versus taking it out and advertising yourself and selling it yourself all the time?
Honestly, I have, sold a few things on my own, but a lot of times it's, you get so many spam calls and people trying to, I'm going to send you a Google code to verify that this posting is real. That was one that happened a couple of weeks ago. Well, that just seems odd. So then I do a Google search, and why are they doing that? Well, once you respond to their verification code, then they have access to your phone and they have your number, and they can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Versus if I, fill it out, take the pictures, give you the description, drop off the equipment.
So now let me ask you this. Now so that makes it a lot easier for you, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you're just talking about filling it out and the pictures and everything else. How easy is that system to work with ours, that we have for you, that we've actually developed ourselves as far as through Brad's software, and you have the option of just bringing it in here or using the system right online, right?
Yep.
How does that work for you? And how do you,
I do it all from my phone. It's so simple. I honestly just, there's a little bit of learning, just as far as how this learning curve, how the system works. But, I've listed quite a few items now, and, I've dropped off trailers and trucks and everything today. And, I did it all from my phone in an afternoon.
Yeah. And, they had it all loaded up. Brought it up because they seen that you did that, because you went to contact us right on the website. So you go into fleet management and then just load the items up.
Yep.
And
give you the description, all the bullet points are there: year, make, model, mileage, tire depth, everything. It's fill in the blanks, take your pictures, and then, that's where you come in.
Yeah. And you don't even have to bring it here, right?
No, you don't. Yeah. The last auction, most of the stuff we just kept at the shop, and, people came to pick it up there.
Yeah. And they come with their paid receipt, and that's good and everything else. And if you got a question, you just text us or whatever. So if it's between your day, you don't have to sit there and call and wait for an answer or anything like that, right? And it works out for you well, huh?
Well, and you gave me your cell, which
well, I aim to please. Make sure that everybody's taken care of. But
you do a real good job at that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, if everybody loaded photos the way you do and everything else, we would have a really easy in this job. Well, Mike, again, I want to thank you for coming out to IRAY and doing this podcast with us. And, we do have another auction coming up. We got a JME auction that's actually going to be the next auction we're doing. It's going to be this next week, Wednesday. And that's going to be a truck repair shop auction that we're going to be selling off all of theirs, because what they're doing is they've sold off their mixer trucks and then also their roll-off business. And then now it's going to be all their repair shop. So they used to repair all their trucks and everything else and did a fine job. So many new things that are on there. It's unreal as far as parts and tools and everything else. So that's going to be this next week. And then our next auction's coming up after that is going to be August 10th. And that's what you're bringing in for, right?
Yep.
So you're ahead of the curve, so we can get a little more marketing out for you and everything that way.
Right.
And, we do want to thank you for, just not only coming in and doing the podcast, but also for being a, loyal IRAY customer.
Well, you make it easy to be a loyal customer. It's this day and age, customer service is hard to come by, and you guys do an outstanding job at that.
No. Thank you. Yeah. And again, my name is Ray Henry here from IRAY Companies. And Mike, thank you very much for coming out here today.
My pleasure.
We want to thank everybody for watching the podcast. And again, this is Equipment Talk from IRAY. Thank you.